I'm David Toman, author of NootropicsExpert.com, and in this video, it's the advanced guide to acetylcholine supplements in nootropic stacks. The neurotransmitter acetylcholine plays a leading role in alertness, focus, memory, and mood. Acetylcholine also contributes to neuroplasticity that supports long-term potentiation needed to form long-term memory, and for a healthy, optimized brain. Acetylcholine deficiency has been linked to ADHD, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, and MS. But you can't take acetylcholine as a supplement. There's no such thing as acetylcholine pills or acetylcholine tablets. But certain foods can help boost acetylcholine by providing your brain with the choline it needs to synthesize acetylcholine. Food sources of choline include egg yolks, liver, milk, and other dairy products, certain grains like quinoa and amaranth, bacon, edamame, and cruciferous vegetables. Now, most of us don't get enough choline in our diet to produce the acetylcholine we need. And this is particularly true if you're using any one of the racetam nootropics in your stack. So many neurohackers use one of the choline supplements that we discussed in part 1, the video called Advanced Guide to Choline in Nootropic Stacks of this series to boost acetylcholine. I'll have a link to that video down below. And those supplements include alpha-GPC, choline bitartrate, choline citrate, and CDP-choline or citicholine. Now, from our review, we know that these nootropics often do so much more than simply increase acetylcholine in our brain. But we have several other options available to help increase acetylcholine release in the brain, inhibit its breakdown, encourage reuptake, stimulate acetylcholine receptors, or to provide the ingredients needed to create acetylcholine. These nootropic supplements are considered cholinergic compounds. Now, the following is a list which includes a brief description of both the natural and synthetic nootropics that help acetylcholine in your brain. Now, for a more detailed review of each of the nootropics I'm going to be talking about, you can go to the original transcript of this video over on my website. On Nootropics Expert, in the article, you'll see live links to each one of these supplements. If you click on that link, it'll take you to the full review of that supplement, which will open up a new page, and it'll provide you with the nootropics history, the mechanism of action, clinical studies, the dosage notes, the side effects, and recommendations. So in this video, it'll just be a 1 or 2 sentence review of what that nootropic is that helps acetylcholine. Now, you can easily find each of these acetylcholine helping supplements at places like Amazon, GNC, the Vitamin Shop, Whole Foods, and even sometimes Walmart here in the United States. ALCAR, or acetyl L-Carnitine, boosts acetylcholine. It's a cofactor to the synthesis of acetylcholine in the presence of coenzyme A. ALCAR donates a methyl group to make acetylcholine. Alpha-lipoic acid. Alpha-lipoic acid increases acetylcholine production by activation of choline acetyltransferase and increases glucose uptake. This process supplies more acetyl-CoA for the production of acetylcholine. Ashwagandha. Ashwagandha extract inhibits acetylcholinesterase, the enzyme that's responsible for the breaking down of acetylcholine. The result is a boost in cognition, learning, and memory. Researchers at Nizam's Institute of Medical Sciences in Hyderabad, India, gave 20 healthy male volunteers 250 milligram capsules of standardized ashwagandha extract for 14 days. Significant improvements in reaction times were reported at the end of the trial. The study suggests that ashwagandha extract improves cognition and psychomotor or physical reaction performance even when you're in the best of health. Bacopa Monnieri. Bacopa Monnieri, also called Brahmi, was given to devotees in ancient India to help memorize long passages of text and enhance cognition. As an adaptogen, Bacopa helps balance the neurotransmitters acetylcholine, dopamine, and serotonin. And research shows that Bacopa inhibits acetylcholinesterase, the enzyme that breaks down acetylcholine, as well as activates choline acetyltransferase, the enzyme that promotes acetylcholine creation. Researchers searched clinical studies to compare the cognition-enhancing effects of Bacopa Monnieri and ginseng to the popular smart drug modafinil. The team found that both Bacopa and ginseng worked better than modafinil for improving accuracy, memory, and processing speed. DHA. DHA is an omega-3 fatty acid. The highest levels of DHA are found in phosphatidylserine, with lower levels in phosphatidylcholine. Phosphatidylserine and phosphatidylcholine are phospholipids, and they make up much of the inner and outer shell of brain cell membranes. Made up largely of DHA, these cellular membranes regulate entry into the cell and control neuroreceptor function, which facilitates cellular communication between and within cells. Phosphatidylcholine also contributes to the choline needed to synthesize acetylcholine, and DHA regulates calcium oscillations, which are involved in neurotransmitter release, mitochondrial function, gene activation, oxidative stress, and brain cell development and growth, also BDNF. A DHA supplement is one of the most important nootropics you can add to your stack. Now, the recommended daily dosage is 1,000 milligrams of DHA per day. Ginkgo Biloba. Ginkgo Biloba is known for regulating neurotransmitters, protecting from brain cell degeneration, boosting cerebral circulation, and is a potent antioxidant. Research also shows ginkgo's cognitive enhancing capabilities are due to its effects on the cholinergic system in your brain. It modulates presynaptic choline uptake and acetylcholine release, upregulates postsynaptic acetylcholine muscarinic receptors, and has an indirect effect on choline function by modulating the serotonin system. Ginseng. One study using Cereboost, which is a branded form of American ginseng, which has a high concentration of RB1 ginsenoside, enhanced the activity of the enzyme choline acetyltransferase, which is the enzyme responsible for acetylcholine synthesis. The ginseng supplement also restored brain microtubule-associated protein 2, or MAP2, as well as acetylcholine concentration. And scientists just discovered that MAP2 is the main traffic regulator in neurons in the brain. This neuron traffic signaling system plays a key role in brain diseases like Alzheimer's. Gotu Kola. Gotu Kola is often called the student herb at Bali because it sharpens the mind. Gotu Kola extract increases dendrite and axon growth in brain cells, which helps memory. Gotu Kola is rich in triterpene saponicides. These triterpenes inhibit acetylcholinesterase, the enzyme that breaks down acetylcholine, meaning more acetylcholine is available in your brain. Huperzine-A. Huperzine-A is a natural compound extracted from the Chinese club moss, Huperzia serrata. Huperzine-A is an acetylcholinesterase inhibitor, which means it boosts levels of the neurotransmitter acetylcholine in your brain. Nootropics users report Huperzine-A provides a boost in mental energy without the side effects normally associated with a stimulant. Improved cognition and clear thinking are common when using Huperzine-A. Many report a boost in short-term memory. Recall is better in the long term. Researchers at Walter Reed Army Institute of Research in Washington, D.C. found Huperzine-A to be twice as effective in protecting soldiers against the lethal effect of the nerve agent Soman as the leading drug that's used for that purpose. Huperzine-A's effects lasted for 6 hours compared to only 90 minutes for the drug. Nerve gas used in chemical warfare attack the acetylcholine system in your body and brain. Iodine. Iodine is required for the production of thyroid hormones T4 and T3. Thyroid hormone receptors in the brain help regulate the production and the use of the all-important neurotransmitters. TRH increases acetylcholine synthesis. One study showed that those with hypothyroidism had significantly decreased acetylcholine in the hippocampus, and that the administration of T4 normalized acetylcholine levels. Iodine is required to make T4. Lemon balm. Lemon balm increases the activity of the neurotransmitter acetylcholine in your brain. When your brain sends signals, it uses acetylcholine to keep the signals moving. But once used, your brain removes acetylcholine with an enzyme called acetylcholinesterase. The rosmarinic acid found in lemon balm is an acetylcholinesterase inhibitor. By inhibiting acetylcholinesterase, more acetylcholine is available to boost learning and memory. And lemon balm also has cholinergic receptor binding properties, which boost the ability of acetylcholine to bind to its receptors. Nicotine. Nicotine works primarily by upregulating nicotinic acetylcholine receptors in the brain, boosting the release of acetylcholine, dopamine, serotonin, and glutamate, increasing neural signaling of neurotransmitters, and boosting alertness, cognition, memory, and mood. But studies have shown this upregulation of nicotinic acetylcholine receptors is dose-dependent, and too much nicotine desensitizes these receptors. So low doses of nicotine are key in using nicotine as a nootropic for cognitive benefit. The National Institute of Drug Abuse conducted a meta-analysis of 41 double-blind, placebo-controlled studies conducted between 1994 and 2008. The analysis found significant positive effects of nicotine on fine motor performance, alertness, attention and accuracy, response time, short-term, and working memory. Phosphatidylcholine. Phosphatidylcholine serves as a storage pool for the choline needed as a precursor for making acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is synthesized from choline derived from the degradation of phosphatidylcholine. Phosphatidylcholine performs a second important function in your brain. The hydrolysis of phosphatidylcholine is used to make free fatty acids like DHA. These free fatty acids facilitate synaptic transmission by targeting nicotinic acetylcholine receptors using protein kinase C. This messenger system is needed for long-term potentiation. Researchers have determined that these fatty acids are critical for learning and memory. Phosphatidylserine. Phosphatidylserine is a phospholipid component of the membrane encasing every one of your brain cells. In fact, phosphatidylserine is one of the most effective memory boosters known. Phosphatidylserine is an integral part of the flow of crucial neurotransmitters like dopamine and acetylcholine. And phospholipids contain choline, which is a precursor to acetylcholine. So, phosphatidylserine will increase acetylcholine levels in your brain, affecting cognition, memory, and mood, and reducing anxiety. Rhodiola Rosea. In Russia, Rhodiola Rosea is widely used as a remedy for fatigue, poor concentration, and decreased memory. It's also believed to make workers more productive. Rhodiola improves mood by influencing serotonin and norepinephrine levels in your brain, and the feel-good opioids like beta endorphins. It helps repair and grow new brain cells. Rhodiola activates synthesis and resynthesis of ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, which is your main cellular energy supply. And it reduces the inflammatory C-reactive protein, protecting your brain cells from oxidative damage. Researchers at China Pharmaceutical University also found that rhodiola extract inhibits acetylcholinesterase, meaning that it increases levels of available acetylcholine in your brain. SAMe. Supplementing with SAMe to increase muscarinic acetylcholine receptors in your brain can boost neuroplasticity and increase learning, memory, mood, and even smell and vision. Muscarinic receptors are part of a large family of G-protein coupled receptors, which are used as intracellular secondary messenger system. G-proteins work by inhibiting neurotransmitters, hormones, growth factors, cytokine, odorants, and photons at the cell surface to the G-protein coupled receptors and activating that receptor. Everything you see, hear, smell, or taste goes through this signaling process. SAMe is also plays a critical role as a methyl donor. It's called methylation in the production and breakdown of all the major neurotransmitters in your brain, including acetylcholine. Uridine monophosphate. Uridine is a precursor to the formation of CDP-choline or acetylcholine, which is a precursor to the formation of phosphatidylcholine. Phosphatidylcholine separates into choline and sphingomyelin in your brain. Choline is then available to form acetylcholine. Optimal acetylcholine levels is critical for cognitive performance. Vitamin B1 or thiamine. Thiamine contributes to the production of the enzyme PDH, which is essential for making acetylcholine. Salbutamine is a synthetic derivative of vitamin B1, or thiamine. It's simply two thiamine molecules bonded together. This chemical bond helps thiamine more easily cross the blood-brain barrier and is often a better alternative in a nootropic stack than just plain old thiamine. Vitamin B5, or pantothenic acid. Vitamin B5 is a precursor in the biosynthesis of coenzyme A. Adding an acetyl group to coenzyme A makes acetyl-CoA. Choline with acetyl-CoA go on to produce acetylcholine. Vitamin B12, or methylcobalamin. Vitamin B12 is a cofactor in the one-carbon cycle that is required for the synthesis of all the major neurotransmitters in your brain, including acetylcholine, dopamine, GABA, norepinephrine, and serotonin. Typical recommended dosage for nootropic benefit and optimal brain health is 100 micrograms of vitamin B12 per day. Now, neurohackers older than 40 and those who have a problem with vitamin B12 absorption should probably use 100 to 400 micrograms of B12 per day. So see my extended review of the video for vitamin B12 for details on that. Most of the nootropics in the racetam family of compounds influence acetylcholine in one way or another. Your chosen racetam could increase the synthesis of acetylcholine. It could boost acetylcholine receptor density, or increase the use of acetylcholine through the high-affinity choline uptake process in parts of your brain, and even modulate the flow of acetylcholine. This means that the use of a racetam in your nootropic stack demands the addition of a quality choline supplement like alpha-GPC or CDP-choline to give your brain the ability to make the acetylcholine it requires. Now, if you neglect to use a choline supplement, you'll not get to experience the full benefit of that racetam, and you'll likely end up with a racetam headache. And now, this is a touch on the best racetams for influencing acetylcholine in your brain here. Colaracetam. Colaracetam is a fat-soluble nootropic in the racetam class of compounds, and is much more potent than the original racetam, piracetam. Colaracetam boosts your brain's choline conversion to acetylcholine through the high-affinity choline uptake process. Nephiracetam. Nephiracetam is a fat-soluble nootropic developed in Japan for the treatment of cerebral vascular disease. This racetam is structurally similar to aniracetam and helps modulate GABA levels in your brain, which improves memory formation and recall, and provides anti-anxiety and antidepressant benefits. Nephiracetam also potentiates presynaptic nicotinic acetylcholine receptors in the hippocampus, which encourages glutamate release and long-term potentiation, needed for long-term memory. Noopept. Noopept is an ampakine nootropic similar in action to the racetam class of compounds, and considered up to 1,000 times more potent than piracetam. Noopept does not appear in blood samples when taken as a supplement. Instead, it elevates concentrations of CGP in the brain. CGP is a dipeptide consisting of proline and glycine, which acts as a modulator of acetylcholine transmission and AMPA receptor function. Oxiracetam. Oxiracetam is a water-soluble racetam nootropic and considerably more potent than piracetam. Oxiracetam enhances choline acetyltransferase in your brain. Choline acetyltransferase is the enzyme needed to stimulate acetylcholine synthesis. Oxiracetam also enhances protein kinase C, which affects muscarinic 1 acetylcholine receptors. Oxiracetam even demonstrates the ability to repair these receptors when damaged. and oxiracetam seems to prevent an imbalance in acetylcholine activity when NMDA receptors are malfunctioning. Phenylpiracetam. Phenylpiracetam is a water-soluble nootropic in the racetam class of compounds. This racetam increases the density of acetylcholine, NMDA, GABA, and dopamine receptors in your brain. This translates into more receptors for each of these important neurotransmitters to bind with and boost their effectiveness. Phenylpiracetam has a positive effect on physical performance by increasing endurance and reducing physical and mental fatigue. In fact, these effects are so potent that phenylpiracetam has been banned from professional sports by the World Anti-Doping Agency. Piracetam. Piracetam was developed by Romanian chemist and the godfather of nootropics, Dr. Corneliu Gheorghe, in 1964. This is the first racetam ever developed. Piracetam potentiates the flow of and increases the effect of acetylcholine and boosts the sensitivity and density of acetylcholine receptors in your brain. And pramiracetam. Pramiracetam is a fat-soluble nootropic in the racetam class of compounds. It has been shown to significantly increase high-affinity choline uptake in the hippocampus. This action boosts acetylcholine use, which accounts, at least in part, for pramiracetam's ability to enhance cognition and memory. Pramiracetam also has a profound effect on the synthesis of acetylcholine, positively affecting encoding of new memories, concentration, cognition, and neuroplasticity. Not using a choline supplement while taking racetams is only one of the ways you can deplete your brain of acetylcholine. Racetam headaches happen because your brain will start to literally consume itself to get the building blocks it needs to make acetylcholine. But what most people don't realize is that we have easy access to plenty of anticholinergic medications that will do a great job of depleting your brain of acetylcholine. Drugs that decrease acetylcholine. Any prescription or over-the-counter medication that blocks the action of acetylcholine is considered anticholinergic. These meds include antidepressants, antibiotics, antihypertensives, antipsychotics, and antispasmodics. If it starts with anti, it will very likely lower your acetylcholine levels. Now, I'm not saying don't use these medications. Just know how critical it is to replace the acetylcholine lost or suppressed while using it with one or more of the supplements that we talked about in this video. So there you have it. The best nootropic supplements to boost acetylcholine. You can't get acetylcholine from a pill or a tablet. You must get it from either food or a supplement. Optimal levels of acetylcholine are critical for brain optimization and function. Your diet, medications, some nootropics, and neurological disorders can all contribute to depleted levels of this critical neurotransmitter, acetylcholine. Now, we have dozens of supplements that can increase the synthesis of acetylcholine, increase the density of acetylcholine receptors, improve how acetylcholine is used, and even amp up or increase the flow of acetylcholine in your brain. But the way each of these nootropic supplements work vary from person to person. What works for me may not work as well for you. So experimenting is key to finding the best combination for your unique brain chemistry and genetics. And one final note, if you're dealing with unusually significant memory loss that feels in your gut like it's worse than it should be, don't take chances on trying every nootropic supplement and hoping for the best. Do yourself and your family a favor and see a qualified neurologist. So that's my report on acetylcholine. If you want to read the full transcript for this video, you'll find a link to it below this video. It's the link called Advanced Guide to Acetylcholine Supplements in Nootropic Stacks. And while you're there, you will also find dozens of articles in all the most popular nootropics on Nootropics Expert. Now, if you have any questions or you want to share your experience on what you use to increase acetylcholine in your stack, please use the comments section below this video, or at the bottom of my article, The Advanced Guide to Acetylcholine Supplements in Nootropic Stacks, over on Nootropics Expert. I do my best to respond to comments and questions as quickly as I can. If you haven't already, download your free copy of Secrets of the Optimized Brain. It's nearly 100 pages and contains details on 92 of the most popular nootropics used today. And consider getting a copy of my book Head First, The Complete Guide to Healing and Optimizing Your Brain with Nootropic Supplements. Head First is nearly 600 pages and the best guide on the planet for fixing and optimizing your brain. Now, if you could use some personal help with choosing the right nootropics or figuring out how to deal with your own brain health issues, consider booking a personal consultation with me. You'll find a link to my calendar below. If you want to see more videos on all the best nootropics used today, subscribe to this channel before you go. I'll be putting out new videos on nootropics and optimizing your brain every week. I'm David Toman, author of Nootropics Expert.